Very good morning to you. Welcome along to Tuesday morning's OTB AM. We're here with you every morning from 7:30 until 9:30. We stream live across all of our social channels. So we're on facebook.com/offtheball, youtube.com/offtheball, and we're also on twitter.com/offtheball. We stream on Periscope. We also stream every morning on the Go Loud app. It's our shiny brand new app. It's the best way to listen to OTB Sports Radio, which is full, uninterrupted sports content in your earballs every morning. Also in your earballs this morning is Eoin Sheehan. Eoin, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very good. I had a question for you straight off the bat here, right? How did the communiques arrive for members of the Kerry media mafia? It seemed like almost imperceptibly yesterday you'd picked up on the main story and were leading the way. If I'm not mistaken, you were the very first person to start having a go at David Goff, and it's clearly an orchestrated campaign on behalf of the Kerry media mafia. So who's the ringleader? How does that happen? Is it a text? Is it just or are you just watch signals? Is it like a sleeper cell kind of? A code word is given, and everybody wakes up and goes, right, get him, get Goff, get David Goff. Is that what happens?
It's somebody who gets a ghost train up from Killarney every morning, sits in the corner of the newsroom and scratches his eyebrow twice. Then I know I have to have a go at the potential referee. That's how it happens.
Is it?
I didn't start this yesterday.
You did. You were first. I see everybody's on the bandwagon today, but you were the first one.
No.
First one on the. Now
the reason why they started in the office.
The Boar's Head on Saturday night does not count. Or Sunday night does not count.
I wasn't there Sunday night. The reason why I was Saturday was the only night I was there. Great night, not Sunday night. Because I'm a total professional. The reason why this came up was because Tommy Rooney in the office brought it up as a meat man. And obviously, I hadn't actually seen this whatsoever. And Tommy mentioned that David Goff should be refereeing the All Ireland final, and that there may be some objection to it. And then we see yesterday Eamon Fitzmaurice coming out and saying he shouldn't referee the final. But I'm not sure who else is saying it.
It was Brian Gavin's column, I think, who started the whole thing. So that was the. So
fair enough.
And look, hang on a second now. It's not necessarily cause and effect. It looks to me like all of Kerry's media people have decided that they don't want.
Who? Name names here.
What?
Who that don't want Brian Gavin, or that don't want. Certainly don't want Brian Gavin refereeing.
It'd be interesting.
That David Goff.
He'd let things go. It'd be an open game. Well, Mike Quirk is the same. And so obviously the two lads are talking in a podcast.
Yeah.
And they're, funnily enough, agreeing with each other. Like even Mike Quirk, I'm astounded that Mike has been sucked into the vortex of yourself and Eamon Fitzmaurice. And I can't wait to see what Dara's column says. Has Dara written a column today? Tomorrow. I can't wait to see what Dara has to say about David Goff. When will the announcement happen? Not for a while, is it?
Oh God, I would say soonish actually. I think you'd get a fortnight or even sometimes a bit longer to actually know the All Ireland referee.
Okay.
And Goff hasn't obviously gotten All Ireland final yet.
No.
Famously. And you would say that he's probably due one. The question here is he due a Kerry Dublin game? Is the thing after a lot of bad blood between Kerry supporters and David Goff from 2016. That for me is not an issue. I think if there's bad blood between supporters and referee, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a bit of vitriol from the stands. There's going to be vitriol towards the referee no matter who the referee is. So I don't think that's a factor. The question is, and it's been brought up by Fitzmaurice here, is that he's a man who lives and works in Dublin, and that that should be taken into account when he's refereeing a Dublin game.
because he might bump into somebody on the street.
Yeah.
And so what?
Is that
what's wrong with that?
Being immersed in I've softened up towards Dublin people a lot since I've been living up here.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
You might even consider spending time in the company of some of them. I don't understand, Owen, really, what impact is it going to have? That
we should get Eamon Fitzmaurice on and actually ask him then. I'm literally saying what he said in.
Grant, but do you agree with this?
Kind of. Would I prefer to see David Goff not referee Kerry Dublin in an All Ireland final? Yes.
Not on the basis of the fact that he lives in Dublin.
Are there worse referees than David Goff?
You were anti-David Goff yesterday, irrespective of the fact that he lives in Dublin.
Yeah, I'm anti-David Goff for a Kerry Dublin game, yeah. I would prefer David Goff not refereeing a Kerry Dublin game.
A Kerry any game? It's Carey that you have the problem with him refereeing, not Dublin.
Not particularly. I think the Dublin thing actually gives I would be complaining about David Goff regardless because I'm a Kerry supporter and I was very angry in 2016. And that does not mean I'm right. That does not mean I'm right.
Exactly, because that's a good point. So you're wrong. Okay, apology accepted. Which is the whole point, because he did apologise, right?
Yeah, fair play to him.
And you didn't realise he'd apologised until last night?
I was kind of reminded of it, yeah, and I think fair play to him. Fair play to him for saying that. I don't think the apology went down well, to be honest with you. I actually don't care that much about this. Like, that's probably why I'm not fighting this that much. If a referee is going to decide Kerry versus Dublin in the battle for 5 in a row, then we've got a serious issue on our hands, and the game needs to be looked at in itself. But if you're putting a gun to my head and said, give me names of the referees that you don't want refereeing Kerry versus Dublin, as a Kerry supporter, I accept my bias here. Like, I'm completely going into this conversation with bias here. I would say no. Please don't give us David Goff. PTSD is a real thing.
Right. That's it's a funny thing for everybody to be obsessed about.
Fitzmaurice's argument is that on a separate thing, like the thrust of his argument is him living and working in Dublin. The thrust of his argument is not 2016. Granted, he did mention 2016 as an aside, but the thrust of his argument is living and working in Dublin. Him
and Mikey Sheehy both say, yeah, he apologised for the... So I don't really remember that vividly. Crowley gets... it's a shoulder, but is it a barge from Kevin McManaman?
He's nailed in the chest by Kevin McManaman. It's like, and it was a Kerry or a point down. It would have been a scoreable free, and it would have been level game. Like, would Dublin have pulled away in extra time? Was it even extra time, or would it have gone straight to replay? I don't know.
I think.
Who knows? Like, sliding doors, all that sort of thing.
Sure.
I think, to be honest with you, I'd love... I'm not sure would we be having this argument if there was, say, another game between these two teams from a different ref in the interim period. It's just been so long, and I'm sure Fitzmaurice is kind of feeling that frustration that they never got a crack off them in the championship since that moment, since you could argue that David Goff took the opportunity away to actually get extra time or a replay. I'm not for 1 second suggesting that Kerry would have won it in that time, and I accept that I may be completely blinded in this, but all I can do is speak how I actually feel on this.
Grand, okay, so it's 2016 that colours everything for you, right?
For sure. When it comes to Dublin, like, it was the last time Kerry played Dublin, like, you were looking at the teams before he came on, that's a vastly different team. It's a long, long time ago.
Yeah, they're both very different teams, although the Dublin backline is very similar to what it is still. There's a bit of change. But just to tease us out a little bit more, okay, because Fitzmaurice and Mikey Sheehy both say, yeah, we've seen that, we've seen the apology, but actually we both watched the game back, and there were loads of inconsistencies in that game. That it wasn't just that incident that they're upset with. That's the end of a game at which they're very upset with. It's not. I think the stuff about living in Dublin is a complete red herring, and it's very unfair because it means that he'll never be able to referee in All Ireland involving Dublin, even though he's not actually from Dublin. He's not a dub, which is, I mean, if we're going to stop people from living in counties and then refereeing those counties, that we've, like, especially when it's Dublin, which is the capital city, which has a population of 1.2, 1.4, however big it was in the last census. You can't do that. It's a ridiculous argument, really.
I think that when you add to that 2016, I don't think it's that ridiculous argument.
It's a ridiculous argument on its own.
I think on its own, perhaps.
So 2016 is the real issue. And this is a red herring for the 2016 issue.
It's completely red herring. I think if you combine the two of them together, I think suddenly you build up an argument where you're like, I would be leaning against this guy. But to be honest with you, if we get an email through today and it's like David Goff is All Ireland final for All Ireland final referee, I don't expect there to be a big hoo-ha about it. Like, I will happily admit
there's already a hoo-ha about it.
I won't be that satisfied about it. So Eamon Fitzmaurice won't be that satisfied about it. Peter Keane probably won't be that satisfied about it. But, like, I mean, ultimately, when you actually see these moments happen in the history, you can't but be a little bit hurt by them. And that is what's coming true. Like, you may say, maybe you're in a better position than me to tell me that I'm wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, then fair enough.
I just think, well, I mean, you said you were wrong.
I said that I was biased.
Okay. You said sorry.
No, I didn't say sorry.
Earlier, anyway.
No, I didn't say sorry. When did I say sorry?
When I accepted your apology.
Well, exactly. That'll be typical you, putting forward the forgiveness before the apology is even given. This is actually one of the most bizarre things you've ever brought up on the show. Like, are
you joking? This is so.
Like, saying that I apologised for saying that I'm biased or whatever this crap is.
Well, we'll look back at the tape. But this is the orchestrated. This is the start of the orchestrated campaign from Carey to try and get in the heads of the Dubs in advance of the game, and it's a little bit. It was reminiscent to me when I woke up this morning.
How do you know it's orchestrated?
Well, you said you got the little guy in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a coincidence that everybody has the same talking points.
Who's everyone? Give me you said yourself that this has been brought up on a podcast where Mike Quirk and Eamon Fitzmaurice has spoken to each other.
Mikey Sheehy had the same talking points. You had the same talking points.
Mikey Sheehy spoke separately to that. You were the one bringing this up. We didn't speak about this yesterday in the show. No. This is not some sort of weird orchestrated campaign.
We spoke about David Goff yesterday in the show.
No, we didn't.
I was just in the office.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure we did in the show.
We did not speak about this in the show. You've gone into full paranoia mode here.
No, my point is that everybody accused the Dubs of trying to take down Lee Keegan a couple of years back with the orchestrated campaign to get him. And like, it's just a thing that happens. People end up talking to each other.
You're talking about red herrings and you're bringing up Lee Keegan in relation to orchestrated campaigns, but when this is clearly, I just find this really weird. Fair enough if you're like, this specific argument I disagree with. If you say that, fair enough. But if you're saying this is an orchestrated campaign, then I think that's just blatantly wrong.
I think I'll be amazed if if nobody else mentions this, none of the rest of the Kerry pundits mention this, and this doesn't become a big story.
But I think you're pretty content to actually stir this up this morning.
It's already become a big story.
Not really, to be honest with
you. Yes, it's in the Examiner. It was in the Examiner last night. Tommy was already talking about it on Twitter last night. People are getting at it. The Kerry fans are out there getting at the referee to get in his head to try and give themselves a bit of an edge out of the game.
It's not that a massive story. It's been mentioned on a podcast and it's been picked up by the newspaper that records that podcast.
It was all over Twitter last night. It's going to be all over Twitter today. Let's wait and see what happens. You're saying it's not going to be a story this week?
That's not what I said. I said it's not that a massive story so far. To be honest with you, I actually don't get... The thing that's actually irked me this morning is that you're saying this is some sort of weird orchestrated campaign and that I've apologised. That you said, yeah, you said sorry this morning. I didn't once say sorry.
Relax.
I accepted it. I accepted that there's a little bit of a bias this morning. That's it. This is a really, really strange thing that you've got into your head this morning. And clearly, this orchestrated campaign has worked on you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just interested to see how the story develops and evolves this week.
It's such a weird thing to bring. It's such a weird thing to like guess. It's such a weird dog with a bone this morning that you have.
We're 3 weeks out from the All Ireland final. Kerry have decided to make a big deal out of the referee in advance of it. Okay. Let's go. Let's
settle for that. Kerry's decided to make a big deal out of a referee that hasn't even been decided yet.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're trying to get the GAA not to. So who are the other referees? Like, would you prefer Joe McQuillan, who refereed the Dubs in 3 All Ireland finals?
Not really. No, I haven't really thought about this, to be honest, in terms of what my power rankings is of the best referees in the country. I thought Deegan did an all right job at the weekend. Then again, Kerry won, and sure to be sour grapes, wouldn't it, if people were complaining about a referee. So I don't know, maybe, like as I say, maybe I accept, like I'm potentially open to the idea that I don't like David Goff because Kerry lost the 2016 All-Ireland semi-final.
And that seems to be a fairly widespread view amongst the Kerry fans.